My sister ruined my credit, so I ruined her life. My selfish sister had always been the golden child of my family, so I'm happy I could be the one to finally ruin her once perfect life. She was a rainbow baby and my parents' miracle, so she was always spoiled and given special treatment when we were growing up. I am 21 and my sister is 18. After she was born, my parents gave me less attention and started to spend their time and money on her and would just ignore me. They bought her whatever she wanted, and if she wanted something of mine, I had no choice but to give it to her no matter how hard I cried. Even when I was in high school and I started to buy my own things, she would let herself into my room, use my stuff, and sometimes break things. Even after she broke both my PlayStation controllers on the same exact day, my parents didn't punish her or pay me back even though I had bought the PlayStation with my own money. Ever since she was a child, she always threw loud tantrums where she threw herself on the floor, broke things, and screamed at the top of her lungs until she got whatever it is she wanted. My parents made me pay for my own phone bill and school sports supplies all throughout high school because they spent all of their extra money on my sister on whatever clothes and electronics she wanted. They buy her a new iPhone every year, and I still use my phone from 4 years ago. I always knew my sister was a spoiled little brat, but I didn't know just how evil she was until this month. I finally saved up money to move out of my parents' house and get away from my toxic little sister. Anyways, I started looking for apartments, and it was through this process that I found out my credit score was in the 200s, despite me never opening a line of credit in my entire life. If you don't know anything about credit scores, that is a dog shit score. And it meant that I wasn't going to be able to move out anytime soon. I went to the bank and it was there that I had discovered that my little sister had opened multiple credit cards in my name. She had maxed out every credit card she opened up and hidden all of the credit card bills that had been coming to me in the mail. I had never been so unbelievably angry in my life. I came home and showed my parents of what she had done, and they said that she was just a kid. I had enough of them and I confronted my sister. I called her a useless, selfish and told her that she was going to pay for all of this. I told her that she was finally going to learn about the real world and I didn't care if she was my family. She was a legal adult now and I was going to sue her ass off. My sister thought I was bluffing. She laughed in my face and said that my money was her money because I was her family and that's what family is for. I left the house for a couple of days and stayed with a friend. I talked to a lawyer and had my sister served with court papers. I shut off my phone when my parents started blowing it up after my sister was served. I went the other day to pack some more things and my sister was red in the face, crying and begging me to drop the case against her. She threw herself on the floor. Despite her being a literal adult, she was kicking at my door as I packed and screamed that I couldn't do this to her and that she didn't deserve it. She said that she would be ruined before she even graduated high school, and this time I laughed in her face. My parents also begged me not to sue her. Again, they said she was just a kid. I told them they hadn't cared about me at all when I was just a kid, so I'm suing her for every last penny that she stole from me, and then never speaking to my family until the day I die. So we have an update for this. It's been a long time since I made my first post, and things have gotten more chaotic and depressing since I first found out that my sister had completely destroyed my credit. I had been trying to move out on my own when I found out that my sister had maxed out a bunch of credit cards in my name and tanked my credit before I even had a chance to use it in my own life. A lot of people were completely correct and guessed that my parents had given her access to my social security number, and that's how she was able to open up all of the credit cards without my permission. I still have no idea why they gave her my social security number. Part of me thinks they were all in on it together and shared the money that they got from the credit cards. I honestly didn't even care, and I didn't view those people as my family, just criminals who tried to ruin my life for their own selfish reasons. Which is why I didn't feel bad at all when I decided to serve my sister with court papers when she was only 18. I would have never been able to repay the debts and raise my own credit, so suing her was my only real option. My entire family begged me to drop the case and insisted that they didn't have the money for court fees or to pay me back, but again, I just really didn't care. They never cared about me, so I was just returning the favor. Things got really bad after the case started, and my parents would constantly contact me that my sister's mental health was declining the longer the case went on. This didn't really concern me or affect my feelings at all, since my sister had been the sole reason for my own mental health decline the entire time I've been living with my family. I only started to feel bad for her when my parents started telling me that she started doing drugs to cope with the stress of the case. As much as I hated my little sister, I would never have wanted her to be dealing with serious substance abuse. My parents said that she had gone into taking pills and just spent all of her time coked out on Xanax. My mom called me on the phone one day crying, saying that this was all my fault and that if I never took her to court, then she would never have started doing drugs. This honestly was really upsetting, and I cried afterwards because it hurt hearing my mom blame me for my sister's problems. It made me regret everything I had done, even if my sister was in the wrong. I thought I couldn't feel any worse until my dad called me a couple of weeks later and said that my sister had overdosed and they were in the hospital while she was recovering. They said that they had come home and found her unresponsive on the floor, covered in her own puke, and they rushed her to the emergency room just in time to save her life. As soon as I heard this, I knew I needed to visit her in the hospital. At the end of the day, she was my little sister, and it was breaking my heart to hear she was going through this. But when I got to the hospital, my parents freaked out on me and told me to leave. They even went as far as to have hospital security escort me out, and I'm sitting in my car outside the hospital because at the end of the day, I just want to be close to my sister while she goes through this. I feel that I should have never done this to my family, and I wish I could just take it all back.
A police dog wouldn't leave my wife alone, which ended up revealing a secret she was hiding from me. My name is Hilton, and I'm married to Pamela. We had just moved to another city when we received a call from a close friend who was a police officer, asking us to take care of his dog for a few days because he needed to go on a trip. However, it wasn't just any dog. It was Bob, a giant and former police dog, a sniffer dog. I accepted immediately, but my wife, who didn't really like dogs, hesitated and resisted, but in the end, she agreed to let Bob stay with us in our house. He had no idea what awaited him. At first, everything was going well, and even my wife was starting to be charmed by Bob. However, my friend called and informed us that his trip had encountered an unexpected issue and asked if we could keep Bob in our house for at least another 2 months. It was at this moment that things started to spiral out of control. This happened because every time Pamela came home from work, Bob would jump on her like a sniffer dog, sniffing and even growling in a strange and obsessive way, as if he suspected that something was wrong. It was very different behavior from a happy dog greeting its owner. It was a struggle to get Bob off Pamela. He was constantly behind her. I began to suspect that Bob was doing this because he might be smelling other dogs on my wife's clothes, which was making him excited. But at the same time, I started to connect some dots because there was no way my wife could regularly encounter other dogs on her way from work to home. And even if she occasionally ran into a dog on the street, it wouldn't be every day. Furthermore, I noticed that Pamela was coming home very late from work, and whenever I asked why, she never gave me convincing answers. I decided to finally try to clarify this issue and took a more drastic step. So, I decided to install a hidden camera in her car. And what I saw in the camera footage and heard made me immediately call the police. Even after installing a hidden camera in my wife's car, I decided to watch and follow her after work to discover what she was really doing and hiding from me. I started to follow her, and quickly I could see that she wasn't heading home. Instead, she was driving around in circles as if she didn't want to be followed. At one point, suddenly, she parked her car, and a strange man got in. Inside the car, he was received with much more affection than I expected from a married woman. It was at that moment that I realized I might be being betrayed. Things got even worse when I decided to listen to their conversations through the camera I had installed in the car. Basically, in this conversation, I heard the plan of Pamela and her lover to take my life because their plan was to poison me slowly. I also discovered that at each meeting my wife had with her lover, she would take a bit of poison to put in my food, as their plan was to make my death look like a natural one. They believed that by slowly poisoning me, there would be no evidence against them, and this way, they could be together after my death and take all my money. After discovering their entire plan and having all the evidence in hand, I immediately called the police. After being investigated, both of them were arrested, and at my wife's lover's house, a considerable amount of poison was found that they were using to slowly poison me. Thank God, my life was saved, but this was only possible because of my friend who asked us to take care of his dog and his dog Bob for alerting me to something I had never suspected. I believe it was fate giving me a new chance to live and be happy.
Get ready with me as I tell you why I cancelled my big fat Asian wedding to have a small wedding with just 30 people. And yes, I had already planned my wedding and cancelled it. So the number one reason is that I don't think people realize how expensive weddings are until you start planning them, especially Asian weddings. There is so much that goes into it. The outfit, the stage, the food, the little like entertainment you need to have, the DJ, the venue. It's all so overly priced to the point where I think that if you literally do the minimum, you can be spending £20,000 on one event for an Asian wedding. To me, is just completely ridiculous. Now, I understand with some people, like some girls dream of what their wedding's going to be like and they're not going to budge on what their wedding day is like, but I have never been that person that's like dreamt of what my wedding day is going to be like. Also, this is my second wedding function. I technically got married last year and my nikah was kind of everything that I wanted, and this event was, to me, just kind of like ticking the boxes so everybody else was happy. Now, as I was planning it, I was slowly realizing that no one is ever going to be happy. People had problems with the guest list, the food, the venue, the outfit. There were just so many stupid things that so many people were having problems with, and it was so annoying because of the fact that it was literally taking all of my spare time to plan this event, which I think is fairly standard for wedding planning. The more I was planning this big wedding, the more I was like, God, I'm like really not enjoying it. Am I even gonna enjoy the day? It's really not my vibe to have like lots of people that I don't know at an event celebrating like mine and my husband's marriage, and these people that you don't know are not going to be happy and they're only really there for the food at Asian weddings anyway. On top of all the extra costs, you don't actually know how anything is going to turn out until the actual wedding day. So many things can be a waste of money because you can taste food but you don't know what it's going to be like when it's catered to like 200 people. Because of all of that, I just thought to myself, what is the point of stressing myself out over all of this? So I actually just cancelled the whole function and I was like, I'm just literally going to plan a small dinner. To be honest, I thought more people would be offended because especially for Asian functions, you worry that like, oh, you need to invite everybody because, you know, there's always like a list of people that like so-and-so wants to invite. To be honest, no one told me that they were particularly offended. They kind of understood why I was like rearranging the whole event, unless they were offended and they just didn't tell me, like, but so what? And I think those people that choose to be offended and like aren't actually happy for the husband and the wife are people that would tend to have a problem with the wedding anyway, like, oh, the food's not good, blah, blah, blah. So I wasn't really bothered too much about hurting people's feelings. Because I rearranged the wedding to basically be a small dinner, I wanted to focus on the food. So there's a manor in Birmingham called Hampton Manor, which specializes in like really good food. They have like lots of, I think, Michelin star restaurants. And they were so nice. They organized the event so well, and it worked out a lot cheaper than having an Asian like big dacey wedding. And it was literally exactly what I wanted. Low fuss, low energy. It literally took no effort preparing for that event. The event was so nice. This sounds really weird to say, but it didn't even feel like a wedding, like in a good way. And a lot of the guests said that as well. Like, we literally just invited close family and friends. And when I was getting ready on the day, I was like so not stressed. I remember being so stressed on the day of my nikah because I wanted everything to go perfectly and there were lots of different things for me to organize. But for this, it was literally like, it was so much fun just getting ready and like chilling. And because of the fact we saved more money not on the wedding, it meant that we could spend more on the honeymoon. And I just don't think that the economy is made anymore for like big fat weddings, and I just don't enjoy them. That's just me, but I understand if that's what like other people want. Overall, if you're someone that doesn't want to have a big wedding, don't feel bad about it and literally just do what you want on your wedding day, because after all, it is your wedding day. I had a really good time. It's 2 months on and me and my husband are very happy.
One time me and my girlfriend at the time were at this concert and then her ex shows up. So she decides to go start talking to her ex. Her ex is so into the conversation. She's like leaning over the rail like, oh my God, I heard she's gonna play the song that's on our Smiley Face album. Me and her girlfriend are just sitting there like, I didn't really think anything of it until the next morning when my girlfriend at the time was like, I think I should text my ex and let her know that there's no bad blood between us. Like, what? Obviously I was stressed out, but I was like, okay, I guess that's valid. She shows me the text and sends it and then goes to work out. I'm working on her computer and then text messages pop up when she's downstairs. Turns out she sent more messages, something along the lines of, oh, I still have the thing you gave me when we first met. And the ex's response, keep in mind she had a girlfriend at the time, was the pet name that they used to call each other, and oh, I still have that too, and I also have the ring that you gave me. So I went downstairs and I told her I saw them. She's like, I won't respond. Fast forward 3 days later, she dropped me off at the airport to go home. And as soon as I walk through my front door, she sends me a voice memo breaking up with me. Through voice memo! I was freaking distraught. I was not expecting it even a little bit. The next morning on a plane to see my parents, and I get the whole, I messed up, I had a dream about you. It's me, not you. Obviously I wanted her back, but I was like, really think about what you want. I was almost convincing her to take more time and to really think about what she wanted because I could not handle this again. Or so I thought. I ended up taking her back, and from the get-go, the texts were so off. But the whole time she was sending me gifts like cookie cakes, cupcakes, her hoodie, her jewelry, and I was like, okay, maybe it's all just in my head. So I confronted her about it, and she was like, honestly, I think it's best that we just stay friends for the next time that we see each other, just to take the pressure off of our relationship. And then a couple days later, she gets caught hanging with her ex. Keep in mind, this is the same ex that her and her entire family would talk so badly about. So fast forward a couple weeks later when we were supposed to be on the same work vacation together. And it was weird because it almost felt like nothing happened. We were touchy, we were cuddling, we were having sleepovers. And then we kissed, and then we cuddled. And the next morning I go to leave and she's like, oh, you're just gonna leave? And then kisses me goodbye. And then she starts being weird again and she's like, I don't want to do this whole friends with benefits thing. That was my final straw. I honestly just couldn't handle getting rejected another time.
These are all the things men do that make them hypocritical as fuck. When they say it's weird that girls are obsessed with Taylor Swift, but then wear another man's last name on their fucking back? Like, what are y'all, married? The fuck? Wanting to be the alpha in the relationship, but not even having the fucking balls to talk about their own feelings? Like, bro is not an alpha, bro is a client. When they want poon 24/7, but don't even know how to make a girl finish ever? That's like begging your parents for a car when you don't even have a goddamn license. When they constantly complain that no girl wants anything serious with them, yet they have a goddamn whole roster? Like, bro isn't a meal, he's a whole buffet, and I'm on a goddamn fucking diet. When they're addicted to adult entertainment but still fucking terrible in the bedroom, you're like me in school. You're telling me you watch like 2 hours of something every single day and you're not learning shit? Bro isn't studying, bro's failing the fucking class. Quick disclaimer to say none of these apply to my boyfriend because my boyfriend is quite literally written by a woman, thankfully. When they're homophobic, closeted, yet they constantly make gay jokes to their friends all fucking day. Like, just say you're mad that they hang around pretty girls more than you. It's fine, baby. It is okay. When they call girls mid to cover up the fact that they get rejected constantly. Like, if she's mid, what the fuck are you? Underwater? When they're insecure and think a girl's too good for them, so they try to make them jealous by talking about other girls and liking other girls' Instagram pictures and all that shit. Like, why is bro trying to create insecurity in a girl for validation when he already knows how it feels? Fuck you trying to do, multiply yourself? Oh, by the way, thank you for 80,000 fucking followers, Hop Knockers. I literally love all of you so fucking much. Y'all are so real. I was honestly really scared that I was about to get a bunch of lame ass followers, but your guys' comments actually make me fucking laugh, so God bless you. Just a little reminder to not let a man who doesn't even spread his ass cheeks in the shower and use the water like a bidet to make you cry. Because baby, you deserve better than that. I love you, Hop Knockers, and stay fucking hot. Bye.
Storytime on how my African tailor was arrested 3 days before I needed my bazin for a wedding. Spoiler, they arrested him as he was sewing my bazin. So let's start from the beginning. I had literally less than a week's notice to get prepared for my cousin's wedding. I found out Tuesday night that it was official that she was getting married. Sunday was the wedding. Not really wedding, the nikah ceremony, if you guys are not Muslim. The nikah ceremony was gonna be on Sunday. I had less than 5 days to get an outfit and I didn't have any bazins made. So I was like, oh my god, I need to wear a bazin. I didn't really want to wear an abaya because I feel like my whole family's wearing a bazin. I don't want to be the oddball out. Let me try to get a bazin made. So I called my mom. I was like, oh my god, I need a bazin made like really, really fast. Is there anybody that can go buy some bazins from? Because you guys know people bring bazins from whatever country they're from and they sell it in the States. So I was like, do you know anybody that sells bazins or anything like that? She was like, you know what? I got you one better. We can get a bazin made in a day. So she tells me to go to this tailor that I already know. He has a reputation of being so unreliable. Literally, he's lost 3 pieces of clothing of mine. So I'm telling my mom, like, he's mad unreliable. Like, I might as well just wear a bicycle to the mosque. Like, he's mad unreliable. I already know what's up with him. She's like, no, don't worry. I'm gonna call him right now. Let him know that you really need the bazin in like 2 days. So she gets off the phone with him, right? And he's like, yeah, tell her to come. I can make the bazin in a day. Literally, it's going to be ready by tomorrow. Mind you, this is Wednesday. Tuesday night, I found out my cousin was getting married on Sunday. Wednesday morning, I literally went to 116, bought the bazin fabric, and took it to him. I already knew that bazin was not going to be ready in a day. Like, I was not even under the impression, like, oh yeah, I'm making my bazin tomorrow. So I took the fabric to him. I showed him everything that I wanted, exactly how I wanted it. I chose a very simple, modest style, something straight to the point. He had some fabric that looked like the embroidery and the bazin that I sent him. I was like, oh wow, you know what? I have high hopes that this bazin is going to turn out good. Do I think it's gonna be ready in a day? Absolutely not. I dropped the bazin off to him. He takes my measurements, everything, right? Cool. And as I leave, he said, yeah, come tomorrow morning. It's gonna be ready 10 a.m. Mind you, this is 2 p.m. on Wednesday. He said, come Thursday morning, 10 a.m. It's gonna be ready. I called him at 9:40, like, hey, should I make my way over? Why this man was just waking up? He was like, oh, I'm so sorry. Can you come at 4 p.m.? Mind you, this man is just now waking up. I can hear the sleep in his voice. I said, there's no way. There's no way. So I'm like, okay, I'm gonna come at 4 p.m. Left my house at 4:11. I got to him at like 4:26. Why at 4:25? As I'm across the street from his shop or whatever, this man gonna send me a voice note like, oh, I'm so sorry. Can you come at 6 or 7 o'clock? I said, I'm right across the street. You're gonna see me. Tell me that in my face. He was like, yeah, I gotta go to 116 real quick. I gotta handle some business. He was like, can you come at 6 or 7 o'clock? I'm like, I can't. Mind you, I was so busy this week. I was throwing my cousin a surprise proposal because she's getting married on Sunday. Within my culture, like that surprise engagement thing is really not a thing. In my religion and culture, you know when you're getting engaged. This is the night I'm throwing my cousin a surprise proposal. I'm like, I cannot come at 6 or 7 o'clock. So I was like, I'm gonna come tomorrow morning, Friday morning, and it needs to be ready. Like, I can't keep on pushing this back. Friday, I called him at 9 a.m. again. He didn't answer. My mom had to call him, and then he finally answered. And he calls me like, oh, come at noon. It's gonna be ready. I get there at like 12:15, right? The way that his shop is set up, he's in the basement and he shares a space with like hairdressers and stuff like that. He locks himself in the basement, makes me wait up there for 40 minutes, bro. Does not come out until 12:56. He finally comes out. He's like, yeah, it's ready. Come try it on. I'm like, bro, you just sold this thing. Don't piss me off, man. So I go try the dress on. The dress is not what I wanted it to be. It wasn't too far off from what I wanted it to be, but it definitely needed some improvement. I'm like, yo, take this red thing that you got on here, because I didn't ask for that. I'm like, fix the shoulders. I want the little embroidered fabric to be up higher because it's just way too low on my waist. So he's like, give me 30 minutes. I got you. I was like, okay, cool. I'm gonna go to Whole Foods and I'm gonna go get some lunch. It's like 1:30 and I didn't eat anything all day. I'm like, I'm hungry. I'm probably going for like 35-40 minutes because he's saying 30, but I know this man, he's never on time. I come back, the salon is just closed. Like I said earlier, this is a space shared with like hairdressers. People were getting their hair done when I was there. It was like 5 people getting their hair done. In 45 minutes, some heads was not done. Where did everybody go? Bro, the doors is locked. I'm calling. This man is not answering, bro. He's not answering the phone. Like, I'm like, yo, what's going on? I'm out here waiting and I'm dumb tired. I'm drained. I have things to do. So I'm calling my mom. I'm like, can you please call him? Because he's not answering my phone. Like, I'm getting annoyed. She was like, just give it another 15 minutes, another 15 minutes. So I think like 20 or 25 minutes went by, right? I'm sitting in my car. I finally see one of the hairdressers that was inside the salon doing someone's hair. She basically was like, you're waiting for such and such? I was like, yeah, like he's making my bazin. She was like, Mimi, you're not getting your bazin today. Police just came, raided this whole salon, and they arrested him. She was like, you go downstairs to see if your bazin's there and you could take it and take it to another tailor. I'm like, yo, what? My jaw is literally dropped. And this tailor is a very eccentric person, you know? Like, I've known him for years. Like, he's just always been very eccentric, you know? I'm literally looking at the salon. The salon is literally, like, it looked like it was just raided. They broke down the doors, everything. Packs of expression is everywhere. The basement was a freaking mess. When I said they raided that, they raided that. So I get to his sewing machine. Y'all, why was he arrested mid-sew? My bazin was on that sewing machine. Needle was down. Bro, my clothes is on the sewing machine. On the sewing machine. Needle was down. They arrested this man as he was sewing my bazin. I'm trying to take the bazin and I realized he literally takes the whole bazin apart, because in order for him to fix where I wanted the embroidery, for him to take off that little red embroidery right here, he had to remove the sleeves, open up the sides again. The whole bazin is literally apart. Like, it's no longer a dress. It's literally just pieces of a dress. I'm not trying to put all the pieces together. I couldn't find my left arm for the life of me. I was literally looking for like 30 minutes, could not find that left sleeve anywhere, bro. Like, anywhere. They literally raided that, mind you, and it's mad clothes in there. My mom was like, don't take the clothes, he might get out soon. I'm really thinking about it. It's Friday. This man is not getting out. They had a warrant for this man. They set this man's whole government. They had a warrant for him. They was looking for him. They got him. Monday's a Jewish holiday, so he's not getting out even by Monday. The wedding's on Sunday. I don't know when he's getting out, so I gotta take my clothes. She's like, okay, cool, go take it. When or if he does get out, we'll just explain the whole situation to him and like why we just took the clothes off the sewing machine. An hour and a half or 2 hours later, I went to go pick up my little sister. I get a phone call. Why is it this man calling me like, yo, I'm out. I see you took your clothes. Bring it back. I'm gonna finish it. I know what I did? I picked up my sister, took the clothes back so he could finish it. I knew nobody was gonna touch that bazin. Like, he's like, it's gonna be ready by 9 p.m. I'm like, 9 p.m. is mad late. Like, first off, I'm gonna lose my parking spot. I called this man at 8:50. I'm like, hey, like, can I make my way there? He was like, oh my God, come at 10 o'clock. I'm like, I'm not coming at 10 o'clock. I'm gonna come 9 a.m. in the morning. Next day rolls around, right? It's dead like 8:45. That's when this man wakes up again. I'm like, yo, he's just so unserious. Everybody's just like, nah, I mean, this is mad unserious. Like, he's just mad unserious. Got there like 10:30 or something like that. So I didn't even try my clothes on until 11 a.m. This bazin is not it. So we do the final fitting, right? It's not exactly what I wanted, but it fits nice. And I'm like, okay, cool. Like, I'm good to go. I'm good with this, right? As he's putting the bazin and stuff away, he had an Aesop bag, you know, the soap company Aesop. He was trying to read it out loud. And I was like, oh, Aesop, like, that's what it is. That's what it says. He was like, oh, you know the brand? I'm like, yeah, I know the brand. Like, I tried their soap. Like, it's a soap company. So he's like, oh, okay, cool. He was like, wait, give me 1 second. Give me 1 second. Let me try to get this other bag so you can read it for me to see, like, what is it pronounced? He's looking for this bag. He's like, oh my God, the policeman, they took my bag, man. They took my bag, man. Where's my bag, man? They took my bag. I'm like, it's okay. It's okay. It's okay. I'm thinking it's like another tote bag. So I'm thinking it's another tote bag. He's like, no, man. They took my bag, man. So after like looking for 5 minutes, he finally finds the bag. He was like, what does this say? And I'm like, oh, it says Stod. He was like, oh, you know the brand? I'm like, yeah, I have their bags. Like literally like the moon bag up there, Stod bag. I'm like, yeah, I like their stuff. Like I like their bags.
I know Stod.
You know that bag? Mm-hmm. You sure?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
He was like, well, I want you to have this bag. This is for all the troubles that you went through. I'm so sorry. Why did he give me a Stod Tommy bag? Like brand new in the bag and everything. He was like, no, I want you to take it. Like, I'm so sorry for everything. I want you to take it. And he was like, this is also for all the clothes that I've lost of yours in the past. Like, I'm so sorry, Mimi. And I'm like, this man is just so hilarious. And I was like, it was so sweet. Like, it was so sweet. Cause no shade, after he gave me the bag, I forgot about everything. I was like, oh, okay, thank you, you know? I was like, thank you so much. Have a good one. Be safe. Be good. And it's the next day, wedding day, y'all. And y'all, I'm getting ready for that. Makeup is done. I'm gonna take my hair down. I don't know how I'm gonna style my hair. Come back for part 2 for when I get dressed, style my hair, and I'm ready to go. And we're gonna see the results of this whole bazin saga, okay?
Am I the a-hole for wanting to leave my boyfriend after seeing how disrespectful and insecure his mom acts towards the other women in her family? I met my boyfriend's mom just 4 days ago, and I'm unsure if I'm overreacting by considering breaking up due to her behavior at dinner. I need to use a throwaway account for this because I'm feeling overwhelmed. My boyfriend and I have been in a long-distance relationship for 2 years. We initially met while on vacation and, during that time, I met his family through video calls. Due to my intensive degree program, I couldn't visit in person. However, now that I've finished my program and can work remotely, I decided to move to his city, get my own place, and continue our relationship in person. I looked at apartments and then had dinner with his family for the first time. Everything started well. I met his parents, brothers, and their spouses. His mom was friendly until we began dinner. The oldest brother's wife had prepared an appetizer, which was delicious. However, his mom took a bite, made a displeased noise, and acted as if she had difficulty swallowing it. She commented that it had a different taste and made a disgusted face. There was nothing wrong with the appetizer. She then went to the kitchen and returned with the same appetizer, saying, "It's good I made the same one just in case." I expected the sister-in-law to say something, but she remained silent. No one addressed the issue, and conversations continued as if nothing happened. His mom, along with the other spouses, cleared our plates, which still had the original appetizer, and served her version on new plates, instructing us to eat. It was the same appetizer, with no difference. I even preferred the sister-in-law's version because it had more vanilla. I was shocked by her actions. Dinner continued, and all the dishes were prepared by his mom. She kept asking how the food was and made passive-aggressive comments about dishes that the other daughters-in-law had previously made. I didn't say anything at the time due to my astonishment, but after dinner, I asked my boyfriend about the situation. He explained that his mom is very passionate about her cooking and doesn't like anyone to outshine her. When I asked if this happens at every family dinner, he confirmed it, mentioning that if someone has made a dish before or prepares one during dinner, his mom tries to outdo them. He assured me that his brother's wives don't take it personally because they understand her behavior and believe it stems from her passion for cooking. My boyfriend emphasized that, aside from this, his mom is entirely normal. I asked him when this behavior began, and he said it started when his eldest brother brought his first serious girlfriend home. Since his eldest brother is 8 years older than him, this behavior has persisted throughout all of their relationships. I questioned whether his mom's behavior was acceptable, and he seemed a bit defensive, replying that she's just passionate about making good food. I've been reflecting on the dinner and comments repeatedly, and I can't imagine subjecting myself to such a situation. My boyfriend and I are discussing marriage, our future, and children, and I'm becoming increasingly anxious. His brother's wives have endured this treatment regarding their cooking since the beginning of their relationships with their spouse's mother, and no one has spoken out about it. Not them, not their husbands, not his dad, and not my boyfriend. How can this be okay? I'm uncertain if I can handle this level of insult at every family dinner. If my boyfriend and I progress in our relationship, does this mean I can never cook anything? Will she always try to outdo me? Will she make negative comments about my cooking? I'm seriously considering breaking up with him because of this situation.